Did you know that more than 100 million people worldwide have read the Bhagavad Gita? And over 2 billion people are familiar with its core message through translations, quotes, and teachings? Yet, most forget that it all began with a breakdown, not in battle, but in the heart of a hero. The first chapter isn't filled with divine wisdom, glowing mantras, or spiritual awakenings. It begins with Arjuna's despair, fear, and emotional collapse. In an age of toxic positivity and forced confidence, the Bhagavad Gita reminds us that even warriors break down. And that's okay. As the chapter opens, the two mighty armies, the Pandavas and the Kauravas, are arrayed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, ready to fight the greatest war in Indian history. The blind King Dhritarashtra asks his charioteer Sanjay, "What is happening on the battlefield?" A question not just of curiosity, but of attachment and fear. Sanjay, with divine vision, narrates the unfolding tension. Among the warriors stands Arjuna, the most skilled archer, led by his charioteer, none other than Lord Krishna himself. What follows, however, isn't a tale of arrows, but of inner crisis. As Arjuna surveys the battlefield, he sees something terrifying, not demons, but family. His cousins, his mentors, his uncles, his friends, all standing on the opposing side. The bow slips from his hand. His body trembles. His mouth dries up. He falls to his knees, saying, "Krishna, I cannot fight." This is not cowardice. This is empathy turned into paralysis. Arjuna, raised on honor and dharma, is suddenly confronted with a war that asks him to kill those he once bowed before. In this raw moment, we see the truth of the Gita. Spiritual awakening often begins with collapse. Arjuna's words in chapter 1 echo the heart of anyone who has ever been overwhelmed by life's impossible choices. He questions the value of victory, the meaning of duty, and the morality of action. What is the point of killing family for a kingdom I no longer desire? He asks. In this, Arjuna speaks for all of us who have faced dilemmas where every choice hurts. The Bhagavad Gita doesn't shy away from grief. It begins with it, because before you can receive divine wisdom, you must first admit you are lost. In the battlefield of Kurukshetra, we see a battlefield within Arjuna's mind. Should he fight or flee? Is loyalty to blood greater than duty to righteousness? Will his actions stain his soul or save the world? These aren't just questions for a prince, they are questions for us all. This first chapter doesn't offer answers. It offers truth, that even the most powerful people wrestle with doubt, identity, and pain. This is the yoga of despair, Vishada Yoga, where emotional honesty is the first step towards spiritual transformation. Krishna remains silent throughout Arjuna's breakdown. He doesn't interrupt. He listens. This silence is divine. It shows that real transformation begins only when we are heard, not hurried. Krishna's chariot is still, as if the universe itself pauses to honor Arjuna's pain. This moment is sacred, not because of what is said, but because of what is felt. The spiritual journey doesn't begin when you're strong. It begins when you're vulnerable. When the heart is broken wide open, that's where light can enter. Arjuna then turns to Krishna and says, "I am your disciple. Teach me." This is the shift from ego to surrender, from being a warrior to becoming a student. And this surrender is what opens the door to the next 17 chapters of divine teaching. But make no mistake, chapter 1 is not a preface, it is the foundation. Without this fall, there would be no rise. Without confusion, there would be no clarity. The Gita teaches us that despair isn't the end, it's the invitation to a deeper truth. Many people skip chapter 1, thinking it's just an emotional build-up. But in truth, it's the most human chapter. There are no gods revealing forms or metaphysical lectures here. Just a man, broken, afraid, and unsure of what's right. This is why the Bhagavad Gita resonates across time, religions, and cultures. It meets you not where you're perfect, but where you're falling apart. It's a guide not for saints, but for seekers, and that's what makes it timeless. So if you've ever faced a moment where your strength failed, where your heart broke, where your duty clashed with your emotions, remember, you are not weak. You are Arjuna. And just like him, you are standing on the edge of your own Kurukshetra. The question is, will you pause long enough to listen to your inner Krishna? The world doesn't need more perfection. It needs more people who are willing to begin their spiritual journey from a place of honesty and surrender. If this message touched your heart, this is only the beginning. In the next chapter, Krishna finally speaks, and what he says has changed millions of lives across thousands of years. Don't miss it. Subscribe now, turn on notifications, and join us for Chapter 2. Sankhya Yoga Vertikalba, the yoga of knowledge and wisdom. Let's walk this journey together, one chapter at a time, not as scholars, but as seekers. Because the greatest battlefield is within, and so is the greatest teacher.